Hello, boys and girls. In Lesson 8.2, we are going to explore box and whisker plots and percentile rank by finding the three quartiles. Let's begin by defining what a box and whisker plot is. So, a box and whisker plot is basically a graph used to show the variance in a set of data. Why might you want to create a box and whisker plot? When you want to compare data from different categories a box and whisker graph makes it easier to see the difference. For example, if a teacher gave the same test out to two different classes, a teacher would be able to use a box and whisker plot to compare the grades from the first class versus the grades from the second class and be able to clearly see how the students did on that particular exam. So, what is involved with a box and whisker plot? Well, one of the most important pieces of data that you need when you are trying to draw a box and whisker graph is called the 5-number summary. The 5-number summary contains all the information you need to create a box and whisker plot. Here are the 5-number summaries you need. The lower extreme or the minimum value, and also the upper extreme or the maximum value in your set of data. Then find the median. Once you find the median, you can then split your data into two sections to find the first quartile, which is the median of the lower half of your data set, and then the third quartile, which is the median of the upper half of the data set. The first quartile is sometimes also called your lower quartile, while the third quartile is sometimes called your upper quartile. Your interquartile range is the difference between the first and the third quartile. It tells how large the spread of data around the median is. So, for example, if you wanted to find the interquartile range, you would take your upper quartile and subtract it by your lower quartile. Percentiles separate data into 100 equal parts. So, like quartiles are into 4 parts. The percentile rank is the percentage of scores less than or equal to that score. Therefore, each quartile is 25%. When we are looking at this data range, this represents your 25%. This represents 50%. This whole piece would represent 75, the top 75%. And then finally, the whole entire range would equal out to 100%. Let's take a look at an example. What do the 5 points on the box and whisker plot represent? So when you have a set of data, the first thing we should do is put that data in order from least to greatest. Next, we're going to find the 5-number summary. So by looking at this data, the minimum is 2. The maximum is 25. Our median is the set of data that is in the center. So if we use our rainbow method, we will find that 9 is our median. Let's now split our data in half, where the 9 is, to find the bottom half and the top half. So your lower quartile, your first quartile, if we do the rainbow method, would be 3. And then your upper quartile, or your upper half, the third quartile, would be 17. So now that we have all 5 number summaries, we will then draw our number line. So we will include the numbers from 2 to 25 in our number line. We then draw a vertical line for each of the values from the 5-number summary. Therefore, we have a vertical line for 2 and for 25. We have a vertical line for the number 9, which was our median. We have a vertical line for our number 3, for our first quartile or our lower quartile. And finally, we draw a line for our number 17, which represented the third quartile or the upper quartile. Next, we would draw a box around our lower quartile and upper quartile, which includes also the median. Finally, let us connect the box to our highest and lowest values. There is our box and whisker plot. Let's try to construct a box and whisker plot for the following set of data. So let's begin by finding all 5 points or our 5-number summary. So we have our low, our first quartile, our median, our third quartile, and our highest value. The numbers are already in order, so therefore I do not need to follow that step. Our lowest number is indicated here to be 2, and our highest is 12. Next, let us find our median. Our median, if we draw our rainbow, would connect our highest with our lowest and keep going until we get to our center number. So we have two centers here. Therefore, we will need to be able to find the average of both of those centers. To find the average of both of those centers, I would add 6 with 8 to get 14, and then divide 14 by 2 to give me a median of 7. Next, let's take a look at our lowest set of data. We will split the data into 2, being that 7 is not within that range or a perfect center was not found. We will include 6 into our lower end of data, and we will include 8 in our upper level of data. So by using that rainbow method, we see that 4 is our lower quartile or our first quartile. Doing the same thing on the other side, we find that 10 is our third quartile or our upper quartile. Now let's draw our number line and create our box and whisker plot. In my number line, I will be including the numbers from 2 through 12. Now let us draw our lines. We will draw our line for our low and our high. We will draw our line for the median. We will draw our line for the first quartile, and then finally our line for the third quartile. Let's draw a box around the lower and the upper quartile, including the median, and then draw our whiskers connecting the lowest number and our highest number.